Well, I got nothing good to say. Um, 24/7 final. Well, there was no scoring in the second half. There should have been. There should have been some scoring by us, but well, that was just an ass kicking. We got our ass kicked, and that's both on the field, on the sidelines, everything. What do you even say? It was mostly non-competitive. We sort of made it a game there very briefly. At 14-0, we put together that nice drive. We get the sweep to Rager. A couple more nice passes, and we get the touchdown pass to Irv, and it's 14-7. It's like, okay, we took some haymakers, but maybe we can get back into this thing now. And but then we let them go right down the field and get another touchdown on us. But then we're in position, and of course that third touchdown, that was the one where Hurts was basically running out of bounds because he got in a first down. And he's like, oh, maybe I'll cut it back in, and we just refused to tackle him, and he just goes into the end zone easily, but it still should have been a game. Still should have very much been a game at halftime. I can't get over that fucking Irv drop. And I'm gonna get to Kirk. He had one of the worst games probably that he's had with the Vikings. I think almost definitely his worst half. But I mean, I can't get over that drop touchdown because that changes the whole game. It doesn't mean we win. I don't think we win anyway. The way things went, but because maybe we still do the stupid thing where we call the timeout before halftime and let them go get a field goal. But maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe we've got all the momentum. Maybe they're a little skittish. If we go in 21-14, boy, I really think it's different. But we'll never know. And we still made a ton of mistakes. I mean, obviously, everybody saw it. If people could actually stomach watching that whole fucking game, I mean, we get a blocked field goal that somehow was not run back for a touchdown. I hated the fucking camera angle on that. You couldn't really see what was going on, but somehow we get tackled on that and don't score because we throw a pick. We get a Jordan Hicks interception, which was that, and even that was already pretty late, so it wasn't really going to matter. But hell, after some of these comebacks yesterday, maybe it would have mattered. But and then we throw a pick. At least it wasn't 38-7. I was terrified it was going to be another 38-7. And we'd have to hear that from all the felons in Philly. Yeah, I mean, the first half was all about the defense being just absolutely humiliated and just never adjusting to anything and just being terrible. And the second half was definitely more about the offense. And yes, I have devoted many videos, both just standalone videos and game recap videos, to lauding Kirk, defending Kirk. I will not defend Kirk on this one. I will not trash him for everything. I mean, even Aikman and Buck were talking about that one pick where that was mostly on Jefferson, but yeah, the other ones. I mean, the second one was really bad. I mean, it was a nice play, but whoever got the ball, but it was a really bad play. I mean, the third one, at that point, you're just kind of throwing it. It's almost like a Hail Mary at that point because you're down 3 scores. It's late, whatever. you know, but I mean, he could have thrown a couple more. Like there were a couple others that were really bad throws. Like it was not a good game from Kirk. Um, but the problem I always have is this does not apply to any other quarterback out there. Kirk Cousins is not allowed to ever have a bad game because if he has any slip ups, if he has a bad game, the vultures are just on him. And this was his worst game in almost 2 calendar years. He had a couple of just okay games last year. But I mean, after that Falcon game 2 years ago where he threw all the picks, he was pretty much lights out the rest of that season. And he was very, very good last year. And he was good against the Packers in week 1. And yes, he had a bad game. Quarterbacks can have bad games. I don't care what they're paid. I don't care how long they've been in the league. A quarterback can have a bad game, and this was a bad game. And he didn't get any fucking help. That's the problem. I'm not like people are gonna. It's just gonna be, oh Kirk. It's all Kirk. It's all Kirk on Monday Night Football. As if anyone gives a shit about Monday Night Football records. Monday Night Football isn't even the premier game anymore. But yeah, he was bad. Like he in 2+ seasons, I've never seen the Kirk and JJ connection this out of sorts. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if this was a coaching thing. If it was Jefferson was just not in it. If Kirk wasn't in it, like a lot of these guys didn't seem to be mentally like even in the game. I mean, like we had so many drops. We had not just the Irv drop, but the just about everybody was dropping balls, or there was one like swing pass out to Dalvin. It's like just a perfect little, just generic like little swing pass out to Dalvin. It was going to be a nice little game, and then he just bobbled the ball up a couple times and fell to the ground. Like these guys were like they weren't in it. I don't know what was going on. I don't think it's a thing where they got a little haughty after last week. I hope not, because they should know better. There's a lot of veterans on this team. They should know better than, hey, you got a real nice week 1 win over your division rival. You can't just rest on that. But I don't know what was going on with Kirk and JJ. It was not a good game for Kirk's very good. He had a bad game. Justin Jefferson is one of the best receivers in football, and he had a bad game. I don't know what was going on with him. He wasn't. He seemed kind of disengaged, or something. Like he wasn't even trying. One thing that was really driving me nuts is like we had a lot of contested balls. Like the Eagles were covering the hell out of us, but we weren't trying. We were not really making much of an effort to catch any of these contested balls. Irv dropped a couple. There were a couple of Irv third down plays in the first half that if he makes those catches, drives continue, and he didn't. And there were a couple of Jefferson plays in the game where it's like it's a contested ball. Yeah, like not every completed pass is going to be wide open. It was for the Eagles tonight, but it's not. Generally in a game, you got to catch some balls that are contested, and we didn't seem to have any interest in doing that tonight, no matter who it was. Get open a little bit more to make a play to defuse and to. And it was a bad game for Jefferson. Like I think it was the third pick. It was right in the end zone. Like that. Like I'm sorry, that ball could have been caught for a touchdown by Jefferson. But he kind of just gives a little half-assed effort at the ball, and it gets picked. They wanted it more. It's like it's the cliche to say one team wanted it more, but clearly the Philadelphia Eagles wanted this game more than we did. And they were physical in our face, which was a good test for us. I expected them to lose. I picked them to lose this game. I picked them to lose this game like before the season. Like you go down the schedule, and you're like, yeah, they're probably going to. They're not going to start 2-0. With Green Bay and at Philly on a Monday night as your first 2 games. But not making any excuses, but a long week, after it's like the one thing that could really kind of halt the good vibes in the moment would be an ugly blowout loss, and we had an ugly blowout loss. It's like the one thing we didn't want. Because if this had been a competitive game that we lost close, I don't think people would be nearly as dejected and mad. And boy, is this fan base turned in a millisecond. There's people already doing the let's tank, let's fire O'Connell. It's the same as Zimmer. I'm not willing to deal with these people. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't, you know, whatever the game planning was this past week, it was not good because and well, I would say that we didn't adjust. I mean, we didn't give up a point in the second half, so you can't necessarily say that they didn't adjust in any way. But you know, they had chances in the second half. Offense just didn't get it done. Kirk didn't get it done. The receivers didn't get it done. The running game did almost nothing. I think Kirk might have finished as the leading rusher. I know Cook got a few runs there in the second half, but I think Kirk might have ended up as the leading rusher because he went off and scrambled. I'm not sure I wanted Kirk taking off and running with like a minute to go in the game. I don't know what that was about. I would have just. They basically took it. They just gave up at the end. They could have run it like a fourth and goal play, but they didn't even bother. It's like, why not just take a knee to begin with? You know, I guess Harrison Smith got a concussion, or maybe got a concussion. It's like, let's get other guys. Let's just get the starters out and not get anyone else hurt when you got a game in 6 days against another division opponent who's, you know, I don't think anywhere near as good as Philadelphia, but you know, you gotta, you know, you can't go into that game looking past anyone. You know, hopefully this is a wake up call. But yeah, I don't get how people. It's so lazy to just be like, well, it's just like Zimmer or it's just like Kubiak or whatever. But I don't get why we were given so much room to the receivers. I mean, I know they clearly probably went into this game thinking we don't want Hurts to beat us on the ground. I mean, we kind of did anyway, but we also gave up just these wide open receivers. It was so easy. I mean, Justin Fields could complete these passes. It's so easy. We didn't even make it tough for him in the first half. Second half a little bit. You know, second half we did a little better, but I mean, how much of that was maybe they were just calling the dogs off a little bit because it was already pretty much decided. And then and of course their defense, they just came after us. I mean, it was I mean, especially a couple. I think it was the one after the Hicks interception where we immediately had first and goal, and they're just full blitz every play. Kirk is just has no chance. I mean, like, I don't even get on him that much for that third pick because I was like, he's just throwing a ball of a Hail Mary at that point because what are you gonna do? Like, they're not blocking at all. Like, they just had, you know, they just had no chance at that point. There's no chance. I didn't really understand a lot of what was going on with the offense. Like, again, like, you know, like for much of the game, I didn't think the pass protection was that bad. Like, but you know, I'll never understand why they just kind of why any coach would just kind of leave Kirk back there to just get hit. Like, move him around. Like, there didn't seem to be much, you know. And obviously, like, Philly clearly, I underestimated them. They have a good defense. They clearly have, you know, a pass defense that is dangerous. But and there were plays clearly tonight where we just didn't have anybody open downfield. But you know, there just was not. There was not a lot of creativity with the offense, to say the least. You know, Thielen has been almost a fucking ghost for 2 weeks. I mean, like last week, it was like you're just throwing the ball to JJ all the time. Well, why wouldn't you throw the ball to JJ all the time if you're getting him open and there and you know go ahead and do it. Throw it to JJ 50 times if you want, if he's going to be open every time. But there just was not, you know.
I mean, this game is it's about momentum, especially when you're on the road in a tough environment. But
it didn't look dynamic. It certainly didn't look dynamic. It didn't look. I mean, it wasn't like
the interception in the red zone.
You know,
what did you see?
It wasn't that much like the offense. The last couple of years, because I mean, when it goes bad, it can go really bad sometimes. But I don't know.
Seeing kind of single high coverage and kind of going to where the reach.
We have to try to keep things in perspective. It's still a new coaching staff, a new system. It's game 2.
Over the course of 17 games, there's going to be some plays where.
My concern after week 1 was that the offense was kind of not doing a whole lot in the second half, and a lot of that was just maybe they weren't. They were kind of just in control of the game, so kind of playing a little more conservative. But boy, we've got 1 touchdown in 6 quarters now, so that's
the turnovers are going to be tough.
When you have the new offensive coach, the new offensive mastermind. We hope is a mastermind.
I got a lot of confidence in the guys in this locker room, and
we've got
knowing that put this one on me.
1 touchdown, 6 quarters. We've got 30 points in 2 games. I mean, that's not that much. Like,
they came out, they went tempo.
I think they'll get better. I think they'll get more.
We knew that this read option is different,
more explosive.
It's kind of hard to prepare for. But they came out throwing the football, and Jalen looked really good throwing the football. What did they do throughout
this was bad. Like, this was really bad. Everyone saw it. This was really bad. Some of it was just missed throws by Kirk. Some of it was just Philly playing really good and just completely dominating us. They had us figured out. They just had us figured out the whole game. But we had defense. I mean, the defense didn't give up a point in the second half. Now I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means we did get the blocked field goal, so that might have been 3. But offensively to give our team. Was it just kind of what we did last week, where we just weren't really going full out at that point? I mean, it's damn near the same score for week 1 and week 2, but
one big silver lining is you guys' special teams approach was nails. You guys' approach to more.
I guess we had good special teams. We got a blocked field goal. Should have been a touchdown. I don't know how. I think it was at Boyd. I don't know how he got caught, by a lineman or something. But the punter looked good. Guess if your offense stinks, but your punter's looking good, that helps a little bit. But that's very, very faint praise to take away from this game. Is be like, oh, your punter is good. Just it was a miserable game, but we'll see. Like the people who are already already on the ledge in week 2 with a rookie head coach. I have no time for these people. And of course, the Kirk haters are just in their glory because he actually played a game that you legitimately can say was a bad game. For the first time in like 2 years, he played a game that's genuinely a bad game. Congratulations, you got your wish. But whatever. The take culture is just nauseating with this. But it was a terrible game from Kirk. I mean, there's no denying that. This loss isn't all on Kirk, but Kirk absolutely was a significant contributing factor to the loss, because whether it was a real defensive improvement in the second half or not, they had chances. They had multiple drives, deep. Well, I mean, I guess the Hicks thing wasn't a drive, but you know, they had multiple possessions that were, yeah, at one point or another, were pretty deep in Eagles territory, and three of those ended in interceptions.
Tough run stopping group that has a real complex scheme on the back end. We're gonna have to play well.
You flip a couple of those, and you flip the Irv catch, and maybe it's a different game. But I mean, you could say that about everything. You could say that about every game. But
I think we'll give our guys a good plan to get right back up on our feet where we
but
want to be. Well, Coach, we can't wait
the
to
people
see
who
you
are on
guys
the
get
ledge and
back
already
in
calling for
the friendly
O'Connell to
confines
be
USA
gone
series
and
see how you guys
Donatello to be
respond
gone, like,
back
come
and
on,
forth. Thank
you
you.
had
Thanks, Tim. That'll do it for me in the Vikings locker room.
that's not rational.
Thank you, Ben Lever.
Like,
and
you
Lincoln Financial. That's the head coach Kevin
if
O'Connell.
if
This has been
O'Connell's the
Vikings
guy,
fan line, Ron Johnson in the mix with me, Nordo,
and he's going to be, if he's the guy, if he is the home run hire,
and of course,
the excellent coach that we some think he will be. I certainly think he will be. That means he's going to be around here a long time, and occasionally, once in a while, they're going to get their ass kicked, because that happens to every team, except for, I guess, the Patriots for about 20 years. It's going to happen. You're gonna get blown out occasionally. But how do you bounce back from that? Like people don't want to hear it. So just like players have to have learning experiences and grow from that, so do coaches. So
I guess that's what fan line is for, and maybe in some cases why
can O'Connell do that? We're gonna, it ain't gonna be the final, statement next week with Detroit, but it's gonna be we're gonna learn a lot about this coach and what he's made of next week, because
winning a primetime game.
You have these big swings. You have a really, really impressive week 1 and a really bad week 2. So I still think, you look at the schedule, I still think this is a team that should have a pretty damn good record. I think they could. We got one really tough game, I think, maybe before the bye in Miami, but even that's not till middle of October. This was a really tough game. Like, this was probably one of the toughest games on the schedule, especially if Philadelphia is really, really good. Like, I clearly underestimated Philadelphia. I picked Washington to win the NFC East. That might have been a really, really stupid call. But
the ball was coming to him. When he saw Darius Slay break up, he gave up a couple times on that fade route in the end zone. Same thing. He kind of ran the fade and just.
You got to be able to bounce back from losses. And we'll see now. We'll see. Now, if they go out there, if they come out next week against Detroit, lay an egg, lose, maybe even lose badly or something, well, then this whole thing is going to take on a really sour tone. And then we're really going to have to. And it's really going to get toxic with this fan base, because there's no patience in this fan base to allow a rookie head coach to grow into the job. But if they bounce back, play really well against Detroit, I know everyone will just say, "Well, it's just the Lions." Well, you still have to win these games. Like, I'm sorry, they still count as wins. So if they come out and play a good game, win the game, then we're back on track with a few more very, very, very winnable games coming up. And that's all we can do now.
After that first interception, it just wasn't his night.
Take this game, flush it down the fucking toilet, because there's very, very little that's positive that can be taken from this game.
I didn't see a lot of shifts of
Only
motion
special
on
teams.
purpose.
There's
Like
almost
the
there's
Packers
almost
game
nothing to
seemed
be
like they shifted the
nothing to be
motion
taken. I
on
can't
purpose
pick
behind
out a
the
single
play
guy
call.
on
You didn't see
defense
that tonight. It didn't feel like they were
who did
hiding. It
anything.
felt like, you know what?
Dantzler had a couple
We're
nice
really
plays,
good.
I
Let's
guess.
just go play. It didn't feel
We
like
did
they
get a
were
couple
trying to
sacks, but
out-scheme, and
you know,
that was a little bit concerning.
we got
You
outgained
can't
like 2-1.
do
There's
one
you know,
week and then
there's just
get
nothing
away from
to
it because you're like, oh,
be.
well, they
It
saw us
was
do
good.
that now. We can't
Nobody
do
on
it all the time
offense
anymore. Yeah, you
did
can.
anything.
Just do it and see what happens. See where the guys line up. Get hurt. He said, I
You know,
didn't do enough
nothing to be
help the
proud of,
offense,
nothing
which
to
means
be like,
he
hey,
knows he probably should have done
that's
a
their
little
one
bit more.
silver
That's what he
lining.
did
It was
last
it was
week.
a terrible
Put
fucking
JJ
game.
in a spot where,
Sucks that we got beat
hey, you
on
gotta figure out
national
where he is. He lined
TV
up in 6 different spots last
on
week. I don't
Monday
think
Night
he did.
Football, so we got to hear
Kirk Cousins,
about
27
Kirk's
to
Monday
46
Night
for
Football
221,
record
the
some
one
more,
touchdown
and
to Irv Smith.
you know it's the
Irv is
Eagles and their
definitely
fans
the
are
talker in
assholes,
some
and
respects after tonight's game.
you know it sucks
3
that happened,
interceptions,
but
the Vikings, by the way,
you know,
1 of 4.
it's like it's just
In the
one
red
game.
zone.
If we were 2-0 right now, it
And that's why
wouldn't
you
mean
get to a
we were
24-7
going to the Super
scoreline.
Bowl,
Vikings fall to
and
1
we're sitting here at 1-1, and that doesn't mean we're
Jack,
missing the
you gotta talk
playoffs.
back. Free iHeartRadio app.
It's a
Give
week
us,
to week
your-
league.
your opportunity
There's a
here
whole bunch
to
of
be
teams out
mad,
there
be
who
annoyed, and get it
are
out of
sitting
your
at
system
you know
before
1
you
and
head back
1
to real
who
life on a Tuesday morning. It's
looked
Ron
really good in
Johnson,
one
I'm
game and
Eric
then
Nine
not so good the
Division,
next game.
and
This
this
is
is
just
Fan
how it
Line.
is.
It's Minnesota Vikings
Sometimes
football.
sometimes it's just you know it's a matchup league. It's a week to week league. This is how it goes sometimes. And whatever this team will be this season, you know, it's going to depend on how they bounce back. And I expect them to bounce back. I expect them to bounce back very well next week and beat Detroit and stay in first place, because they are technically still in first place, because we've got we're the only team that's got a division win that's unbeaten in the division, so we're still in first place. For everyone who wants to jump off the ledge already, we're not even into fall yet, and people already want to jump off the fucking ledge. And this sucked. Look, there's no silver lining to this game. This was a fucking terrible game. This was. I mean, that Green Bay game in Lambeau at the end of last year where Sean Mannion started, that wasn't even a game. That was like not even that didn't even count as a football game. That was like not even. I don't even know if that would count as an exhibition. You know, but other than that, this was the worst game we've had here since 2020. You know, we had losses last year, but they were almost all close and excruciating. and I recounted many of them live. But like, it was a terrible fucking game. There's no denying it, and it sucked. And I wish it didn't happen. I wish we had, you know, if we were going to lose, at least we had lost in a competitive fashion, so we could, you know, feel like, you know, be like, just, oh well, we lost a tough road game, it's not a big deal. But you know, instead we have an ass kicking to deal with for a week. But I'm certainly not off the KOC bandwagon. I think I believe in this guy. Got his ass kicked. This happens to a lot of rookie coaches. I mean, you know, got this guy off the McVay tree. Zach Taylor was like 2-14 one year. I mean, we're not going to be 2-14, but you know, like, it happens. Like, you're gonna get your ass kicked sometimes. It's just gonna happen. Bounce back. I think this team will bounce back. And I've already said this a bunch, and I'm really rambling. But all I can say is this was a shitty game, but it was just one game. I still think this is a good team. We'll see if they can grow into being a very good team, maybe even a division-winning type of team. And if they do, then we get into December or January, we can look back and be like, hey, you know what? We got our ass kicked in Philly, but we bounced back and we grew from that, and that's all you can hope for. And but I think we will bounce back and we will beat Detroit. And so don't be on the ledge and don't jump off the ledge, because you know there's a lot of football left to be played.